What's up, my friend? If you clicked on this video, chances are you feel like you're not enough. No matter what you do, you feel like you're just falling short for who you truly are. I get it. I've been there many times, and I felt like that many times. But the truth is, that's not who you truly are. My name is Angelo, and I will share my story with you guys today. But before I do, let's take a deep breath together in and breathe out. Growing up at a young age, especially in middle school and high school, I remember that I was so shy and so anxious that my social anxiety was almost at max and my confidence was lacking. I remember times where I literally couldn't even hold a conversation with people. I would find any way to either physically escape or mentally escape, because I felt like just talking to people, I felt like I was going to die. Some part of me was going to die. And the reason being is because of who I thought I was, the self-image I had from what I thought it was and how others may have perceived me. Or I was more introverted as a kid. I would just play games in my room, video games, or even watch TV or anime or something. And that I barely even went out to hang out with my friends. I remember literally in family gatherings, I couldn't even talk to my family members from my family. That they might ask me a question and I might give them a couple of answers, but I didn't really want to talk. I just felt like I wasn't good enough to even talk to them. Or even in school, when I had this crush from 8th grade to 10th grade, I remember one time I asked someone in my school if they can tell that other person that I had a crush on them. And so they did. And the next morning when I came in, I remember that I saw that person coming across the hallway, and I totally just ghosted them. I avoided them, even though they probably knew at that time that person told them I liked them. And I felt like part of it is because I was not good enough. I felt like that I was not a good person because of how I was living during the time, or how I perceived myself, because there was part of me that didn't like my weight. I remember being so shy that I couldn't even ask people at like a cafe or something for what I want. I couldn't even look them really in the eyes. I couldn't tell them what I want in confidence. I felt like I didn't even want to be there. I didn't even want to be in social places with people. I felt like any way I could, I just wanted to escape. I wanted to leave. And there was this part of me who deeply cared what others perceived me as, how they viewed me as. Because I remember in my friend group, I wanted to always have that validation and approval from others, where I would have to make my friends laugh.
Oh. Oh. He dropped his shirt.
Look at this guy in his natural habitat. I have to record him. He came to the jungle, coming back as Tarzan. I had to be the funny guy. I had to have that reaction out of people to make them think that I'm funny, and so I can feel good enough about myself for making others laugh. Or even just be the smart one. I don't want to be dumb. It's kind of like when you're in class, when you're younger, and the teacher asks the whole class, can anyone answer? And no one wants to speak because that image of, if they speak and they say something dumb, they'll be perceived as stupid. And that's pretty much how I felt 24/7, to the point where I didn't even want to go out. I didn't want to interact with people. And I wanted to run. And although I was comfortable, at the same time I hated myself. And I didn't want to change. I couldn't face the fear of myself. I couldn't face the fear of who I was. I would rather sit and play games. I would rather sit and watch porn. I would rather sit and just twiddle my thumbs and feel like I'm not good enough. And I had no one around me to actually help me. I had no one around me to give me that guidance. And also lacked the courage to ask anyone around me for that guidance. And because of my high social anxiety, and because of my lack of confidence and trying to create and hold this self-image, I even struggled with having a girlfriend when I was younger. I struggled with talking to that specific person because I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I had to keep the self-image of myself when it wasn't even a true self-image. And although I can't say I had a horrible childhood, I didn't like myself for who I was. I lacked the courage and the strength to be a better version of myself. I lacked the courage and the strength to care about myself. And I always had this subconscious belief that I'm only good enough of what others think of me. If I get approval from my mom, my dad, if I get approval from my teachers, my friends. But here's what I learned after my spiritual awakening, is the lies that we tell ourselves about what self-worth really is. And it's the belief that someone else's opinion is more important than yours, than your own relationship with yourself. You see, society has programmed us to make us believe that we need external validation and approval to feel good about ourselves from outside sources, whether it's the job title you have, the bank account, the house, how your partner looks, whether it's how much likes you get on social media. But here's the spiritual truth, is that you were created with inherent worth, not earned worth, not this approval or worth of outside sources, but you were born with that self-worth already, and you don't need outside sources to tell you or why you're good. That's social conditioning from society. Whether, like I said, is the likes you get, the job title, or whatever. It's that conditioning that you need to be good from outside of there. It's almost like saying that they have the keys to your worth, which is not true. Now I want you to do this exercise with me real quick. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to visualize and say these things to yourself. That I am worthy of love, I am worthy of respect, and I am worthy of happiness simply because I exist. And I want you to do that 3 times. And after doing that, if you felt uncomfortable, that is good, because that is your ego trying to fight, trying to keep you in that same position, trying to keep you not finding your soul truth, not trying to find yourself, to becoming a better person, and not trying to, it's trying to keep you into hating yourself. And after that exercise, I want you to do 4 things. I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for about yourself. In honor of your worth, say no to 1 thing and set that boundary. And to also just say no to things that are draining you. And I also want you to speak to yourself like you're your best friend. If this message resonated with you, I want you to comment 1 thing in honor of your self-worth that you're going to do this week, to have that self-improvement, have that self-growth, and to continue on this journey. And I want you to remember that you are not broken, that your worth is not measured by external sources outside of you, and it's measured from within. So stop thinking of the past and being in the now, when there is no more past, and now is the only version of yourself where you can continue, and that you're good enough already.